Hey, so let's talk about a feeling that's probably a little too familiar for a lot of us. You know that constant pressure to be more, to do more, to achieve more. It really feels like you're on a treadmill that you just can't get off of. But what if there was a way to stop running for good? Well, today's explainer, which is based on the infinite self and the architecture of oneness, says there absolutely is. So let's just dive right into this feeling, this sense that we're all in some kind of endless race, right? You cross one finish line, you hit a goal, and instead of actually celebrating, you're already looking for the next one. It's just this constant motion. But does it ever really feel like you're getting anywhere? Sound familiar? You know, the next promotion at work, or maybe a bigger house, hitting a new personal best in the gym, or even something as simple as getting more likes on a social media post. There's always something else to chase. And when you finally get it, that satisfaction, it's fleeting, isn't it? The goalposts just move again. There's actually a name for this feeling, the anxiety of endless striving. And honestly, just giving it a name is a pretty powerful first step. It helps you realize, hey, this isn't some personal flaw of mine, it's more like a cultural condition. It's that little whisper in the back of your head saying not enough, the one that pushes us to look for validation everywhere but inside ourselves. But here's a pretty radical thought. What if the race itself is the problem? And that leads us to a really different kind of idea. Instead of looking for ways to run faster or somehow outpace the competition, what if the answer is to just stop, to actually step off the treadmill completely? So, how in the world do you actually do that? Well, the core idea here really boils down to understanding two pretty profound truths. Just two. And these aren't, quick fixes or some new productivity hack. Nope. They are fundamental shifts in how we see ourselves and the world around us. And they literally have the power to change everything. This right here, this quote, really gets to the heart of that first big idea. That relentless search we're all on for external things, approval, happiness, that feeling of finally being enough. It's all built on a shaky foundation. This framework argues that what we're looking for isn't out there somewhere. It's been inside of us this whole time. So this first big idea is called the infinite self, and it's a complete 180 from how we usually operate. It's about turning our search for wholeness inward instead of constantly looking outward. And this isn't just about self-love, it's way deeper. It's a fundamental redefinition of who you are. Okay, so here's the crucial point, the main takeaway. The infinite self is this realization that at your core, you are not a project that needs fixing. You're not some half-empty glass waiting to be filled up. Your fundamental nature, from this point of view, is already complete. It's not something you have to go out and earn, it's something you just have to realize. Now look at this. This breakdown makes it so clear. On the left, you've got the striving mind. It is always looking outside for answers, its mantra is never enough, and its main fuel is constantly comparing itself to other people. But now look to the right. The infinite self finds its source within. Its truth is already whole, which makes comparison, that engine of so much of our anxiety, completely, totally irrelevant. And that brings us to the second core idea, which takes this concept of wholeness and just expands it outward. So if the first idea was about our own inner universe, this one is about our connection to the entire universe. It's called the power of oneness. I mean, our everyday experience tells us a pretty simple story, right? I am me, you are you. This desk is not that window. We see and feel a world of distinct, separate objects and beings. This is pretty much our default setting. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, the idea here is that this feeling of separation, as real as it seems, is ultimately an illusion. It's just a product of our limited perception, because beneath that surface-level appearance, everything is connected. And when you recognize that interconnected reality, when you see that the same consciousness or energy that animates you also animates everything else, that is the truth of oneness. It's the understanding that you aren't just a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a single drop. So, you've got these two huge, game-changing ideas, the infinite self and the power of oneness. What happens when you put them together? Well, that's when the race is finally over. And this isn't about giving up your ambition. It's about changing your fuel source from anxiety to authenticity. Let's just walk through how this all unfolds. First, you discover your own inner completeness with the infinite self. And the result of that nagging need for external validation just starts to fade away. Then, second, you see that exact same wholeness in everyone and everything else through oneness. What does that do? It dismantles jealousy, it dismantles judgment, which leads directly to the final result. The entire game of comparison becomes pointless. The whole structure just collapses. And this right here is the logical conclusion that changes absolutely everything. I mean, think about it. Is your right hand jealous of your left hand's ability to do something? Of course not. That's a ridiculous thought, right? They're part of one system, working together. When you start to extend that feeling of being one system to everything, the very concept of better than or less than just evaporates. Striving has no fuel left in the tank. So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. If that endless, exhausting search for more is finally over, if you stop trying to fill a void because you realize there never was one to begin with, what's left? What does ambition even look like when it's not driven by fear? What do you choose to create, not from a place of needing something, but from a place of already having everything? It's a powerful thought.